The story opens with the protagonist, Sakata Yuichi, explaining that he has no choice but to live according to his parents' expectations. He once believed he was only interested in 2D girls and had no attraction to anyone in real life. That belief starts to waver when his plain and inconspicuous classmate catches him staring at her and tells him to stop. However, the same girl, when at his house, is honest and bold. She tells him to keep their situation a secret. Ever since they started living together, things have been hectic for him. She asks if she can call him Yu-kun and threatens that if he doesn't wake up, she will kiss him. Now Yuichi finds himself at the mercy of 3D girls. He is a second-year high school student, and when he comes back home, she welcomes him. She tells him they should eat dinner, and thus a marriage-like life with his classmate begins. At school, in his class, he looks depressed, and his friend slaps him, asking why he looks so sad. Yuichi's friend, Kurai Masaharu, asks him what's going on and tells him to stop acting strange. Yuichi sighs, commenting that Kurai is as laid back as ever. Then Yuichi gets a call from his father, who tells him he's leaving the house to Yuichi for a year. Surprised, Yuichi asks if he's really going through with the wedding. His father says it's a great step for his future and asks if Yuichi has anything else to say. He also mentions that his client's daughter has been living alone, and as a dad, he worries about a lot of things. Yuichi realizes that this is about her. His father tells him that he must carry on the fate of the Sakata family. He adds that ever since his divorce, everything went to ruin. She tells Yuichi that he also has a dark history from his 3rd year in junior high. He asks Naya where his father went, and she replies that he ran away. She tells him that she'll head over to the agency tomorrow, and Yuichi sighs, realizing his father wasn't kidding. Masaharu asks if 5 years isn't amazing, and adds that if it's with a girl, it would raise some suspicion. He says that the person's identity shouldn't matter and he shouldn't ruin his own chances. In any case, this situation would mean he'd be dating Nihara. She looks at Yuichi and winks at him, but Yuichi turns away. He can't bear to be around her because she tries to get under his skin, and he wants to distance himself from 3D girls as much as possible. Suddenly, he notices a girl with glasses reading a book. He wonders who she is and thinks she should have introduced herself earlier. He asks Masaharu if he knows her, but he is also unsure. Yuichi thinks she looks plain and is the embodiment of adolescence he wishes for. He longs to live a quiet life like her every day. He remembers his time in his 3rd year of junior high. Back then, he lived with enthusiasm and thought of himself as the center of attention. One day after school, while joking with friends, he confessed to his crush, but she rejected him. After that rejection, he wished that was all that had happened. But the next day, everyone at school knew about his failed confession, and they laughed and made jokes about him. That moment changed him, and he was no longer the cheery person he used to be. He now thinks they were all a pain. When school ends, he doesn't want to go home because his fiancée might be waiting for him there. He takes out a 2D girl keychain. Her name is Yuna Chan from Love Idol Dream Iris Stage, a browser game with nearly 100 fully voiced characters. The game even holds events and radio shows with the voice actresses. He got hooked on the game and shut himself away in his room to recover from the rejection. When he pulled Yuna from the gacha, he lost his mind over her. He was bewitched by her expression, voice, and vibe, which made him want to marry her. Since that incident, he has become scared of falling in love with 3D girls. No matter how much he likes them, he would never know their true feelings towards him, as if they were part of a game. He could hurt them, and on the other hand, they could hurt him. If he had to endure such feelings, he would rather dedicate himself to Yuna and 2D girls who would never betray him. He is dazed, thinking that even a wedding dress suits her. Suddenly, he sees the plain-looking girl from class trying to reach for something in a tree. He asks her what she's reaching for and notices a letter. Without hesitation, he grabbed it for her, saying she looked like she was struggling, so he decided to help. He hands her the letter. He doesn't want to get too involved with 3D girls, but she thanks him and reveals that the letter is something very dear to her. Yuichi blushes because this reminds him of a scene from the game he played. He is shocked but tells her he's glad to help and excuses himself, saying he'll leave now. He is relieved that Yuna isn't here and vows not to eat his words by turning his back on 2D girls. When they both reach the building, she asks why he followed her. He responds that this is his house. His sister, Neu, opens the door and scolds him for being late. He says he couldn't help it since he had just come from school. She tells him to shut up and is annoyed by the keychain in his hand. She asks why he still has that keychain and calls him unreasonable. He asks what she means by that, Stating that Yuna is the hope of humanity's survival, she questions if he plans to live alone, playing his stupid game forever. She tells him society will shun him, that he'll be a burden on their father, and that she will also be dragged into his troubles. The girl with glasses steps in and asks if Yuichi is talking about Izumi Yuna, the one who played the role of Yuna in Iris Stage. Yuichi is surprised and admits that he is, and he loves her. She thanks him, and he is confused and asks why she's thanking him. She reveals that she is Izumi Yuna. He is puzzled and asks if her name and surname are the same as the character. She clarifies that her real name is Watana Yuka. Nayu, now annoyed, tells them she's heading back and congratulates him on his engagement. He is confused and tells her to wait. She clarifies that their father arranged for him to meet his marriage partner, and she's standing right in front of him. He is stunned and turns to look at the girl. She introduces herself again as Watana Yuka and expresses her appreciation for his love and support. His heart starts racing, and Nayu reveals that Yuka is the client's daughter, the one their father was talking about, and she is his marriage partner. Yuichi realizes that the voice of Izumi Yuna is standing right in front of them. Yuka confirms once again that she is Izumi Yuna from Iris Stage. Yuichi sits at the dining table, deep in thought. He can't believe that the classmate he barely remembers, who also voices his favorite character, is now sitting across from him as his future wife. Watanabe, noticing his dazed expression, asks him who his favorite character is. He continues to stare at her, still in disbelief. Just an hour ago, when he invited her for tea and she agreed, he noticed her calm and refined look when her sister told him to relax. Still trying to understand everything, he asks Watanabe if this situation bothers her. She calmly explains that her father, who is close to his client, arranged their marriage. Yuichi's mind reels at the absurdity. No matter how many times he hears it, it doesn't become any less ridiculous. He asks her if she had transferred from Tokyo in her first year of high school, to which she confirms, explaining that her family still lives in the countryside, so she lives alone. Nayu then chimes in, suggesting that since her brother also lives alone, Yuka-chan could just move in with him. This infuriates Yuichi, and he snaps, saying she isn't in a position to decide what happens next. He adds that both of them are still in their second year of high school, making the concept of marriage absurd. It isn't like a sui juris marriage, where both parties can just agree without consequences. Watanabe nods in agreement. He then reminds her that he has made a promise to himself never to get involved with real-life girls since their father's divorce left him with no hope for marriage. He has no interest in being rejected again. Nayu, annoyed, mentions that he's said this 1,000,000 times already, and she is tired of hearing it. She mentions that character says those kinds of lines all the time. He snaps back, saying the character isn't just a 2D figure. Her name is Yuna-chan. She angrily adds that a flat object can become 3-dimensional if he add more dimensions, so he should accept that. Nayu slams the table, stands up, and sarcastically tells him to at least go spend time with his wife. When he asks why she's so agitated, she ignores him and heads for the door, calling them a young couple as she leaves. Her words annoy him, and he mutters, "What the hell is wrong with her?" As the silence between him and Watanabe grows more awkward, he clenches his fists, trying to compose himself. Finally, he calls out to her, asking if she knows that he's a hardcore anime nerd with nothing exciting to talk about with girls, not even about anime, manga, or video games. Watanabe takes a sip of tea, and Yuichi can't help but notice how attractive she looks. But brushing that aside, he thinks maybe he should just end the marriage conversation, so no one gets hurt. He blames his father for orchestrating this entire mess. Out of nowhere, she perks up and asks who his favorite character is, pouting slightly. Yuichi, still puzzled, remarks that he has already told her, hasn't he? He only talks about anime, manga, and video games, nothing else. She shakes her head and denies it, which leaves him confused. He asks her if she isn't the type who'd buy vases or paintings. She confirms she isn't. Yuichi then asks her if she's the type who gets swept up by things that go viral on social media. She gets fired up, questioning why he's so hung up on such trivial things. Casually, she mentions that she's the 4th daughter in her family. He is taken aback by that revelation. He then jolts in surprise, asking her who her favorite character is from the anime Fivefold Finance. She answers that it's the 3rd daughter. He comments that her wearing those headphones hits differently. When she asks why he has such niche tastes, he retorts, asking if she doesn't have her own. She replies, not really, which shocks him even more. He thinks every anime fan has a niche. She explains that she's not really the type to have one. She's more innocent in a way. It's hard to describe, but she likes when someone wears a shirt with the top button undone. He comments that a necktie could do the same. She agrees, adding that even without a tie, she thinks shirts buttoned all the way to the top look cool. Her eyes sparkle as she talks, and she mentions she doesn't like guys who are too dynamic. They start teasing each other about their niche tastes until their eyes meet, and they both burst into laughter. Yuichi stands up, announcing he'll bring out some sweets and drinks. As he rummages through the cabinet, she asks if there's any spring anime that's caught his attention recently. He admits there are many, but also confesses that he never really talks this much. Watane agrees, tying her hair up as she adds that this is the longest conversation she's ever had with someone too. She then asks to see his room, but he strictly forbids it. When she asks why, he explains that he doesn't want anyone to see it. Watane laughs, assuring him she's also an anime nerd and would understand. She even promises to pretend she hasn't seen anything suspicious. They're still high schoolers after all. He doubts her claim of being innocent. Watane laughs, saying she's Izumi Yuna, the voice of her character from Irish Stage, so she knows Yuna best. Yuichi challenges her, asking if she really knows Yuna better than he does. He admits, a bit embarrassed, that he might know the character even more than she does. Watane laughs and reminds him that she's the voice actress, so of course she knows Yuna better. Her love for the character is unmatched. Yuichi refuses to back down, saying Yuna-chan means everything to him, and he won't let anyone take her from him. Standing up dramatically, he invites her to follow him, stating he will prove his devotion. They walk up to his room, and as he throws open the door, he reveals his collection of Yuna merchandise, posters, and figures. Watane is in awe. Pointing to one poster, she asks where he got it. He casually replies that he printed it off the internet. Watane smiles, saying that Yuna will always be by his side, no matter what, so he should always wear a big smile. Yuichi is stunned, swearing he has just heard Yuna's voice. Watane giggles, reminding him that she's the one who voiced her after all. She then mentions her favorite line of all time from Yuna, the one that's always stayed with her. He agrees, saying that's his favorite line as well. He ponders that those words gave him the strength to carry on after he stopped going to school following a breakup. Watane also notes there was a bit of fan service mixed into that episode. She then announces that she needs to head home, but before leaving, she thanks him for being such a devoted fan. He thanks her for bringing Yuna-chan into the world, admitting that she's made his life so much brighter. He doesn't even know how many fan letters he has sent her by now. Watane reaches into her pocket and pulls out a letter. She smiles, saying that one of her fans wrote something special, and it made her happy. She then asks him if he has ever signed his letters with a pen name. Yuichi, confused, says it should be in the letter, signed as Death Love. Hearing this, Watane's face flushes, and the letter slips from her hand. Yuichi hesitates for a moment before realizing the letter might be his. She is in shock upon discovering that he is the one, her Death Love-san, a silent whisper filling the room as she stands frozen. Yuichi, confused, realizes that she had only ever read the name Death Love. He can almost hear her grumbling to herself. She quickly bows to him, declaring that though she may be inexperienced, Yuna, or Watane, will do her best to be his wife. This sends Yuichi into a state of severe shock, but she seems lost in her own thoughts, wondering if something is amiss. It hits her she's been using overly respectful honorifics, which makes her sound too formal. He tells her that they're classmates, and she excitedly chimes in that she prefers nicknames. She urges him to call her Yuka, and in turn, she'll call him Yu-kun. Suddenly, she jolts, asking if they should make things sound more mature. She immediately apologizes, realizing she may have spoken too much. He reassures her that it's all right, admitting that he's just feeling a bit overwhelmed. She explains that she's incredibly clumsy when it comes to communication, so she thought it best to just keep pushing the conversation forward, and that she accidentally went into overdrive. Her expression reminds Yuichi of Yuna, and he tells her that he had a different impression of her. She confesses that she had tried to stay quiet, worried people would think she was just a flighty chatterbox. But because of that, no one ever approached her, and she withdrew from socializing. Yuichi realizes that she had unknowingly isolated herself from a normal, peaceful life, even though she meant well. Now he finally understands who Watane-san really is. Out of nowhere, she grabs his hand and asks if he will marry her. Surprised, he firmly says no, leaving her speechless. She asks why, reminding him that his father had arranged for him to marry his favorite voice actress. Wasn't that the ideal situation? She even claims she's his best bet. Yuichi, slightly exasperated, explains that while the person voicing the character may be real, she is not Yuna. He appreciates how she feels, but he hates to burst her bubble. He has already decided not to get involved with 3D girls in real-life love. The idea of real love scares him, and he doesn't want to face it. Yuka, feeling a bit down, tries to understand his response. She confesses that she had her own doubts about the marriage from the beginning. She even thought about turning it down, but she wanted to give back the support he, her death love, had given her. She tried to show that support by voicing Yuna with all her heart, even though she felt insecure. Still, she admits she wasn't great at it since Yuna only had a few lines. Whenever she felt low, she would read the letter from Death Love, where he wrote, "It's a pleasure to meet you. Your laughter has always brightened my day and inspired me to step back into the world." She thanks Yuichi, saying his kind words helped her get through tough times, even when she cried after being criticized. She had written him many letters over time. Yuichi comments that it must have felt strange, but she quickly disagrees. Death Love had been incredibly supportive, and Yuichi couldn't even comprehend how much he had done for her. When her father told her that she was getting a marriage partner, she didn't mind the idea. If it was Death Love, that thought became her emotional anchor, so she never imagined meeting the real person behind it. She admits that she had always pictured Death Love as a mysterious, supportive classmate she'd never met. When she first learned that Yuichi was her partner, she was against it. But now, everything feels different. Her eyes sparkle as she tells him that their meeting was bound by fate. She asks him to take care of her moving forward, but Yuichi quickly reiterates that he's not interested in a relationship with 3D girls. She smiles, telling him that it's right. After all, she's the 2.5 version of Yuna. Sitting there, she points out that this is his once-in-a-lifetime chance, so he should take it while he can. She even teases that she'll say good morning in Yuna-chan's voice for him, so he'd better not make her change her mind. As he reluctantly agrees, she confidently states that, without further ado, she'll do her best as his wife. She then asks what he wants for dinner. He's stunned to realize it's already night, casually stating that he can just eat leftovers. Curious, he asks her if she can actually cook. She replies confidently, "Of course I can." Shortly after, she prepares a beautifully plated bowl of noodles and encourages him to dig in. As he takes his first bite, he's shocked by how delicious it is, blurting out that she can really cook. She then points at him playfully, reminding him that as his wife, he should call her Yuka. He suggests she should still keep her name intact and proposes calling her fiancé instead. She asks him to add her to his contacts, and now he realizes he's adding his fiancé to his phone. Afterward, she comes out of the bath without her glasses. She mentions that she doesn't wear them at home, and now that she's his fiancé, this is her home too. She then tells him that she wants to get to know him better. Can't she? Startled, he asks her not to get too caught up in the idea, insisting she should use the guest room on the second floor and unpack her things there. He says he's looking forward to living together, and she shares his sentiment. He sighs, thinking he might be digging his own grave here. That night, before bed, he opens his phone to find a message from her. He sends her a good-night message, telling her he'll do his best in the morning. When he wakes up the next day, he hears noises coming from the kitchen. As he walks in, she greets him with a cheerful good morning. He's surprised by how different she looks, nothing like she does at school. Without her glasses and with her natural hair color, she seems like a completely new person. She playfully asks him how she looks, and he stumbles over his words, commenting on how quickly she can change her appearance. He then adds that some of the third-year girls at school are a little eccentric. She laughs and explains that being the center of attention is tough, which is why she wears glasses at school, to create a different impression. She then tells him she's made breakfast, so he should hurry up and eat it. As they head out together, she asks if it's really a good idea for them to go to school together like this so soon. He finds himself thinking that this pale-looking girl is just like Yuna-chan. He quickly reminded her to keep their engagement a secret from the rest of the class, unsure how they'd react to such sudden news. She is happy to be going to school with him. He reminds her that their relationship is a secret from everyone else except their family. She asks him why, and he explains that if rumors start circulating, they will be made fun of. He adds that they shouldn't be too conspicuous, and up until now, she wouldn't want the class coming up to her about it again. She agrees that she doesn't want that. He can't allow them to draw attention to themselves because, if that happens, it will be no different from the hell he went through in his third year of middle school. She promises to do her best to act like an ordinary classmate, but she admits she doesn't know how long she can keep up the act. He reassures her that it's all right, saying he's doing it for the sake of courtesy too, and tells her to be careful and not misbehave. She understands. In class, with a serious expression, she asks if he wants to go to the hospital, then ignores him. Masaharu asks what he did to her, but Yuichi insists it's nothing. Ever since he got into the classroom, he's been messaging her on Rhine, and she keeps staring at him intently. Every time he replies, she doesn't stop staring, and he didn't expect the situation to turn out like this. Masaharu says it's not that simple, and a comment like hers about going to the hospital wouldn't just come out of nowhere. He explains that she must be mad at him. Masaharu then asks if he hates 3D girls, but Yuichi tells him it's none of his business. She sends Yuichi a message asking if he wants to go to the ophthalmologist together, and he's stunned that she actually meant to interpret it that way. His friend questions why he isn't more concerned. Yuichi ponders that while she may be hard to recognize, he knows her best. Her surface persona, her identity as the voice actress Izumi Yuka, and most importantly, her true nature. He's the only one who truly understands her. She smiles at him, and Masaharu notices her gaze lingering on Yuichi again. After school, Yuichi heads out, recalling that her belongings are due to arrive at his house soon. Suddenly, she calls out, startling him, and suggests they walk home together. He warns her to be careful about what she says in public. She apologizes, explaining she just wanted to catch up. He gets it, and she admits that chasing after him makes her heart race. He's stunned because her actions don't match her words. The delivery guy arrives and asks where to take the packages. She instructs him to take everything to the second floor. She pulls out a letter and tells Yuichi that from now on, she'll be living with him and will do her best as his bride. He replies that he'll do his best living with the 3D girl. After the delivery guy leaves, she considers setting up her stuff. He asks if she needs his help, but she reassures him that she's fine and he doesn't need to force herself. He realizes she's serious about this and reflects that they're now living together. The reporter on TV announces a chance of thunderstorms in the Kanto region. She returns and asks him if he can make some tea for her. They sit on the couch together, and she confesses that she's starting to love the feeling of living with him. He silently agrees with her. He calls her Yuka-chan and asks about dinner. She's stunned, and he asks if he said something wrong. She pouts and suggests it would be better if they had nicknames for each other. He's surprised, and she explains that there are lots of nicknames in anime. She asks if "my dear" would be a good one. He tells her it's too embarrassing. She then suggests husband, which causes him to spill his drink in embarrassment. She tries darling, and then begins offering different options in various voices, showcasing her talent as a voice actress. She uses a cat-like voice to roleplay, then becomes gloomy, admitting she feels ashamed of herself. He tells her he's fine with Yu-kun, and she replies that Yuka-chan doesn't hold any special meaning. Suddenly, his stomach growls, and she goes to make dinner. He asks if she's tired from all the unpacking and even cooking, but she assures him that she's fine. He realizes it's been a while since someone cooked in the kitchen. She tells him dinner is ready, noodles with onigiri, and he thanks her. He recalls what she said earlier about the nicknames and thanks her again, calling her Yuka. She blushes, and he asks how it sounds, acknowledging it might not be special. She nods, and he suggests they do their best moving forward. She agrees. Later, as they watch a TV show, she becomes upset that it ended on a cliffhanger and asks if he found it interesting. He tells her they should go to bed since they have classes tomorrow. Just as he says goodnight, there's a flash of lightning and the lights go out.
Here I am, know it's been a while.